start the meeting. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of ARCHAEO Trials, it's my great pleasure to warmly welcome you all for the today's session. Also, we are honored to have with us Dr. Prashita Mukherjee, Assistant Professor at Rishi University. Actually, she is a distinguished researcher and educator with a specialization in archaeology and ancient Indian history, and she has an extensive academic background, having contributed significantly to her research on cultural traditions and temple studies, also in iconography. Her works include detailed studies on actual figurines and terracotta art, have been widely published and presented at esteemed academic platforms. Today she will speaking on profoundly insightful topic, the temple within architecture as a reflection of inner awareness. And we are grateful for her presence today, for her sharing of knowledge with us. So, ma'am, sure, you can start.
Thank you so much for this kind and humble introduction of mine. Um, I'll just share my screen. Just let me know if it is visible. I hope it is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Before I begin to start my lecture about the temples, I would, since it is going to be a journey and inner awareness towards inner awareness, I will be playing some soft music behind me to just to have that uh, feeling of that we are in a process towards inner awareness. I hope it is fine, and my voice and the music are not, getting into with each other. I hope it is fine. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Very clear.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Usha Nandini, for the confirmation. Okay, so let us just start. So today I will be speaking about the temple within, architecture as a reflection of inner awareness. I am pretty sure you people are students of archaeology, history, architecture, and the allied fields. And you must have learned about Indian temple, Hindu temple architecture, what is the architecture about, and what are the various forms, the different types, which shastras talk about what. Today I will be talking a bit differently about how architecture is a reflection of inner awareness. Now, introducing with the topic that what exactly is inner awareness. Now, as the definition goes by, inner awareness is the conscious understanding of one's thoughts, emotions, and spiritual self. But it mostly includes that what am I? What am I other than the roles which I play every day? These are some of the questions which come to us on everyday basis. And when you in the present day, I see it in the social media, people are saying we are going through depression, we are going through anxiety and mental health issues. And when you actually go to a therapist, the person will be telling you that, you should enjoy or start doing things which you enjoy the most. You have to you have to be aware about yourself. Now, this is what the ancients have has been doing for such a long time and in the present context also. So, to understand this concept much better, a physical manifestation was required, and today we are going to talk about them. That is temples. Today we are not going to see temples just as mere monuments or artifacts or structures of study and to put them in certain categories of Nagara, Dravida, Vesara, but from a different perspective, from a different point of view. What was the need to bring on these structures and how they got developed? We cannot forget that the Indian or the Bharatiya civilization is absolutely philosophical and symbolic. Nothing happens random. Everything has a proper scientific explanation, philosophical explanation, spiritual explanation to each and every aspect of the temples. Today we are going to see another point of view, not just from point of view just as a physical, tangible architectural space, but as a manifestation of our thoughts. So, when we talk about temples, the most thing which is discussed in your classes, maybe in your lectures or teachers or in conversations, they always talk about, you need to understand the origin of temples or origin of anything. So today we are going to see a side, a point of view, why there was a need. Why do we need a sacred space? Why do we need such structures? You can worship him anywhere, any place, but why do you need a temple? So when you see it from perspective of a human being, you always need a physical manifestation of anything. Now, let me bring a very relatable example in the present times. When you use Instagram and you start talking to someone new, you just go through their uh, what you call it, the profile. You see that who that person is, what are their likes and dislikes. And when you start talking to them, in your mind, you have a physical representation of that person, right? That you are talking to someone, you are admiring someone, you are reciprocating to someone, so you need a physical manifestation. Similarly, we as humans, when we were in the process of evolution, development of the society, development of our thought processes, we were scared, not scared, or we need someone to protect us, right? So these protective entities or protective elements were brought into a physical form. If you remember, I don't know how old you people are, I believe you all are from the Gen Z generation, but if you just go back to movies from 80s or early 90s, you will see when the depiction of a divinity or a god was to be shown, or a process of self discovery was to be shown, they showed a small flame of light, a jyoti. It was just a form, it was a formless thing. So this is the way when we worship someone or we worship or admire someone, it is just formless. You just need a form, you need someone to be attached to. If you do not have those physical representations, you will never feel attached, right? Today also, when you have attachment issues, that is because of the things, the memories which replays, or the things or gifts you have. Those are physical manifestations of your attachment. Once you let go of them, that attachment, that admiration, that love will go off. Similarly, so these ideas, when we were worshipping, we were trying to bring these elements into a form that were called the vigrahas. The vigrahas came into existence. Now, these vigrahas were not something what we see it in the present context from the iconographic point of view, but were stones. If I don't know if you know about the Banalinga, which is a stone representation of Shiva, and Shaligram is another form. It is Vishnu. It's just a mere pebble, and people worship it, right? So that is the initial phase of the vigraha. And when you have this vigraha with you, you want to keep it somewhere, a place which is safe, which is sacred, which is clean, and you will decorate it, right? You will not just keep your any image. Even if you own a good phone or any phone, you will not just keep it anywhere. You will not keep it in a drain. You will keep it in the bed, or even if you see it from your perspective at your houses or in your hostels or anywhere you stay, you will have your own space, a specific bed or a specific room or a specific table which is just yours. So this is how the concept comes in. The deity or the vigraha will be kept in a place which is sacred, which is space, which is clean, which you can just keep it. You just want to keep that. You cannot keep it anywhere, right? So from this, the idea we come up with the idea of a sthana, of a place where you keep the deity or where you consecrate the deity with all the mantras and rituals in the later phases, what we even do today. But in the evolutionary process, I don't know if there was any mantras to chant. It is from only from the Vedas and the later texts which talks about that how a deity should be consecrated. But what about the deities which were prevailing, pre-existing in the society? Were they invoked? Were they consecrated through a process? I don't know, but they were given a space in the society. They were worshipped. So, this concept of a vigraha, which develops into the idea of iconography, iconometry, of identifying a deity, comes into existence. And this deity, which is placed into a sthana, becomes the idea of a temple. So this is how the need of a temple or the physical manifestation came into existence. So this is from a thought, a concept, to the tangible form. Because as I just said, since the ancient times, humans need a physical manifestation, a tangible something to hold on, to understand each and everything very nearly or very dearly. If I just close my camera and close my presentation, you will not understand what I'm trying to say. You need an anchor for that. As humans, we all need an anchor to bridge the gap. So this is how the concept of a vigraha leading to iconography from asthana to temples came into existence. Now, the idea comes in that what is a Hindu temple? Now, I have put the images of the recently consecrated temple of Sri Rama Janmabhoomi. This is the image of Sri Ram Lala, which is in Ayodhya. Now, when we talk about Hindu temples, it is the house of the abode. Okay, when you are building your house or when you are creating your own space, you want it to be beautiful. You want to decorate it with flowers. You want to decorate it with good incense sticks, with good people. You want to surround it with those people, right? So Hindu temple is the house of the deity, in simple words. No philosophical, no spiritual meaning if I'm not putting those uh, fabrics in this definition. It is the house of the divinity, where you come across with the divinity and with yourself. Now, when we talk about this process of inner awareness, you move from a flight of steps from a mandapa to from Mahamandapa to a mandapa, Antarala, and leading to a Garbhagriha where the deity sits or is consecrated. And when you move towards that direction, you will wait for 5 to 6 hours in line, just want to see that divinity, which brings me to the second next slide, that the house of the divinity, you just want to have darshana, just want to have that feeling of seeing him or her. So when you visit or when you reach that destination of the Garbhagriha, where the deity stands or sits or sleeps or whatever posture it is in, for only for 2 or 3 seconds you will be there. If you stand for, I'm talking about large and bigger temples in the society, you can only stand for 2 or 3 seconds, not more than that. and you will feel a connection. You will see people are crying, people are smiling, people are clapping, they are chanting different names of the deities. So this is the bhav which comes in when you see the deity. So this showcases a connection with yourself and the divine. When you just look at the divine for 2 and 3 seconds, that divine gazes you into your soul. It looks back to your soul, which is a path of inner discovery, which pushes you to look at yourself. After having darshana of several deities, people change within few seconds. They say that, okay, I will not have non-veg from today, okay, I will not have alcohol, okay, I will do this much of danam to the temple or other related things. So these 2 to 3 seconds or 5 seconds of just having that darshana can change your lives. You are young students, you might think that these things are sounding so philosophical, so spiritual, sometimes boring, but this is the reality. You can't escape this reality. This is how our civilization has been standing on these thoughts, that making a concept into a tangible form, and that too continuing till present in 2025. It is a big deal. So we need to respect, we need to love, we need to admire. Now if you just look at the deities, those deities are not just formless uh, uh, stones standing. These deities are living, they are breathing. When you visit there, you will feel that energy, right? When you enter a temple, you remove your shoes or your chappals. So there has been an explanation that you are just respecting the deity, or just to adore that person. You, out of respect, you remove the chappals. But the basic explanation, and this philosophy, not only philosophical, the spiritual explanation is that the temple complexes are imbued with electromagnetic waves, positive waves. The time you step into that area or that sacred space, you will feel something heavy, something light, something in your chest. You will feel something, be it anything. To absorb those energies, those positive energies, you have to remove your chappals. Because if you just wear in the chappals inside, you're just restricting that absorption of that beauty, of those positive vibes. So that is the reason we remove, we take a bath to go and have a darshana. Why do we take a bath? We can just go without bathing. That is fine. The divine is fine. Okay, you come without bathing. But we bathe specifically. Why? Because when you visit someone's house or you visit a party or anywhere, you always take a bath. You will take a shower, then you will wear your best clothes. You will get, dressed up nicely, and then you will go. This is also a place, this is a house of the divinity, where he or she stays, lives, eats, have a conversation with you. So you just get dressed, or you just clean yourself, remove all the negativity from yourself, from your aura, and then you have the darshana. Just feel it. I will advise, when you go to a temple next time, keep these thoughts, what I'm saying, in your mind, and just see that how your world changes. Now, how do these temples become sacred? Now, I'm pretty sure you have seen this photograph, this image somewhere or the other in your history books, in architecture books, or in the internet itself. This is the Vastu Purush Mandala. When I talk about Purusha, I know you all know about, since you come from that background, but people who have joined from not having that background, Purusha here does not showcases the gender, or the sex of a person. It is a genderless person, and it is just a physical form of the Vastu. Now, Vastu Purusha Mandala is You can just see the diagram on which this temple structure stands. Hmm? Now, just think about it that you are making a temple or even a house based on someone who is living. You know, you just put a grid, you are dividing that whole area, and you are making that area sacred. You are consecrating something, right? You are erecting some structure over it. You make it very sacred through the Vastu Purusha Mandala, which is the sacred architecture of our civilization. Now, this architecture or this grid aligns with the natural forces, with the flora, with the fauna, with the raw materials available, and through this, how the energy slowly flows. Now, there are temples which are not they're not temples, there are structures which are not made as per the Vastu Purusha, or the sacred geometry. They sometime or the other will definitely face a problem, because in our Hindu civilization and Hindu rituals and traditions, you will see that the foremost, after selecting the site of soil type, the raw material, we take permission of the bhumi through bhumi puja. We worship, we take permission that we are constructing something, we need your support. Who does that? It's a land. You don't need any type of permissions, but we do, because that land is to be made sacred. There are several flora, several fauna which are already existing, several devi devtas who are, you know, who are staying in that area. We need, because when you are digging, you are actually destroying that space, right? You are actually removing something. Even when we go for excavations, we always do bhumi puja, or we worship the tools which we use, so which uh, to respect Vishwakarma, the architect. Why do we need to do it? Because it is a way of respecting each and every element in the society, in the parts. So proportions are based on mathematical precision, sacred geometry, and several other things, but they reflect the cosmic thought processes, the cosmic patterns that we are in the intangible form, and they are manifested in the sacred geometry. When you see this Vastu Purusha, it showcases it talks about several deities. You can see Indra, you can see Mitra, you can see Rudra, and it also talk about that at what place a courtyard should be put, where should the puja take place, where the bathing space should be there, where people can stay, where the store should be there. So our bodily elements reflect these things of inner awareness, of just to make you understand that our body, it is a temple itself, and that is how, taking this body as a measure, and you construct a temple out of it. So you can just think, because when I was growing up, my I used to always say that, Ma, I don't like to live anymore. My life is very boring. Nothing good is happening to me. I am not getting good grades and all that things which we say when we are growing up. So my ma used to, she still used to say the same thing, one thing repetitively, that you are born as a human, and that is a blessing in itself. And you have to respect that. You don't know, because there are so many creatures which die off within seconds, minutes, months, and next years. But human has this tendency of staying longer, and use their brains and create certain things around them. They can change themselves as per the need of the society. We can adapt. That is the reason humans evolved for such a long time, and we are still evolving. However, I feel that this is a very personal point of view, that humans have stopped evolving. We are now just degrading ourselves in some way or the other. So the people who have left the civilizations behind us to take forward, I don't know what they are thinking in the present day. Now, moving forward, so how does architecture mirror the spiritual consciousness? I have been talking about inner awareness. This is a spiritual journey we have embarked on. Now, if you just look at, this is a plan of a temple, a normal temple. Now, when we see the temple, it is always on a raised platform, which is called the Adhishthan, the Pishta, and Upapita, Pita, and the other names which go around all over the length and breadth of the country. But important thing, I will just like to add on that the important thing, which is that however the concept of temple was, um, in the present in the society, they got manifested in tangible, this tangible manifestations were, there was difference in the timings. But it is very interesting to note that the basic concept of having a sacred space remained same all over the length and breadth of this country. The architecture, the Nagara, Dravida, Vesara, they are different because of geographical reasons, of the materials. Obviously, because you cannot build a temple in South India, bringing material from somewhere in Uttar Pradesh. It takes lots of toll of if energy of your body, and lots of money is required. So whatever local resources are available, you will try to use that. This is the simple and basic explanation. So it has so many branches, but the core crux of the concept of having a temple, a sacred space for the deity, remains constant throughout time, irrespective of the dynasties, irrespective of the physical features or geography. The core concept remains the same. Now, if you just look at the plan, so you will, so the temple itself is a journey towards your inner discovery, your inner awareness. Now, when you see a temple, you will, climb some flight of steps, which showcases a step towards the higher world, towards upward. This is all symbolic. Okay, when you go to a monument, you see temples just as monuments, as living, as they are just monuments. But when you start start looking at them through the lens of a living entity, you will understand that they are self-explanatory. You don't need a tour guide explaining you each and every part. Okay, this is this, this is this. When you just start walking in, you will be in the path itself. Now, when you climb the steps, you are in the mandapa or in the mahamandapa. That is the congregational space where all that worship and all that dance forms and music and drama, all the festivals takes place. Okay. So this is this place. Then you slowly move towards the Antarala. Antarala is the vestibule, space between the mandapa and the Garbhagriha, which is a symbolic representation of the outer world and the inner world, and the gap. There is a bridge between that, which is the temple itself. And then you move slowly towards the Garbhagriha. You do not actually enter the Garbhagriha. Now, in the present day temples, you just see the Garbhagriha. Now, the Garbhagriha is the sanctum sanctorum, the Garbha. The Garbha is the holy womb where creation takes place, where fertilization takes place, from where a new life comes into existence. So this is the reason the deity resides there, because all creation takes place. And when you enter the Garbhagriha, it is a calm, maybe a dark room, and where you will not have excessive lighting, excessive people, only a priest standing there and nothing else. That is how you leave all the worldly desires, all the outward world, and you move towards inner awareness. When you see that the deity on the altar is looking at you, you have a self realization that the temple which you are looking around in the world is in yourself itself. You are the temple, and you just need not to worship. Please do not take in any other way. uh, Not to worship, but to admire, to give importance to yourself. So this is the path of self discovery. After the darshana, you will go around circumambulating or pradakshina of the deity or of the space. Because in books or in research articles or even in your class you might hear that temple is the microcosm of the universe. It is a physical manifestation of the universe. Now when you are circumambulating the garbhagriha, that sacred space, you are circumambulating the universe itself. You are just you are going into a loop that you have to understand yourself. If you don't, you will be in the loop. You have to break it out somewhere. You take pradakshina, you thank god, or the divinity. You just say that I want a visa for UK. I want to get good marks in something. I want to do a PhD, please don't do it, and other related things. And you slowly, when you go to through this pradakshina, you will forget all of this. You will all forget everything. And and when you are in the temple itself, you will see that it is not some room which is just decorated. There are specific flowers, incense sticks, which awakens our senses. Okay, when you read about philosophy, that our senses are something which which will always give us falsehood. You can be what do you say, you can be deprived, or it can do anything to you. It can wrong you. You are touching something. So these are how senses work. But our mind, our soul are aligned with the divine. And then on the garbhagriha rises the shikhara, or the vimana, as we say it in the Dravida school. So this showcases the higher awareness. It's simple that you should leave, all those things which are going around you. Just focus in yourself, and you will reach the level of higher awareness. When I talk about higher awareness, it is like, in simple words, that just do what is meant to be done. Respect your dharma. When I talk about dharma, this is not about religion, but what is to be done correctly. You just perform your dharma, everything will be as per your. That's, as Sri Krishna says, karma karte jao, fal ki chinta mat karo, which means you just do your karma and don't think about the fruits. That okay, if I give someone this, I will get that. Don't have that mentality. Simple. You do whatever is right, and you will reach a place. You will get your things. You will get your fruits when it is required. So this is how architecture brings out the spiritual consciousness. When you coming back, when you see the temple from outside, it is widely decorated with lots of sculptures, art forms. You will see that women are standing in several postures with their partners, animals, flora, fauna, and Mithuna couples. I believe that the concept of erotic sculptures are wrong. When you actually look at those sculptures, Erotic means something which tries to awaken, arouse you in certain way, arouse your desires. But when you look at those sculptures from my point of view, those are not, when you look at them, they are not for your arousal. They are sensuous. They are beautiful. This is not, I'm not trying to bring in any type, but if you just look at those sculptures, they showcase how beautiful movements are, how beautiful sensuality is, how beautiful a human body can be. They are not used for arousal. And you will see different types of everyday life scenes, somebody cleaning their house, some women is decorating herself, or she is sitting somewhere and having conversation with her friends near a water body and other related things. So the whole temple, the Mandovara, which I remember from this thing, the Jangha region of the temple is vividly decorated with all of these everyday scenes, and you will see so many things which you can think of. So these are all symbolic representations that you have to leave. That is the reason it is all outside and only at the pillars of the mandapa they are decorated. Hmm? So this is a symbolic representation that you should leave all of this and move towards the divine. The divine can have any name, any form, or it can be formless. You just have to understand yourself. That is what exactly the temple architecture tries to bring in. Now, temple, a journey within, as I just explained, how our body is reflected in the temple architecture. Now, the legs and the jangha, the thighs, the hands, the shoulders, the head is exactly replicated in the temple forms. Now, this is the temple at this is a Hoysala Sri Keshava temple at Channakeshwara. So this is the Hoysala temple. I believe many of you might have seen this image. Now you can just see that how intricately each part of the temple has been decorated. Like we decorate ourselves, each part, we cannot decorate our soul, right? We can do good deeds only to decorate that soul. But for the physical form, we decorate it in any way possible. For women, we will wear good dress, jewelries, good headdress. Men will wear good dresses, watches to decorate themselves. So this is the journey of inner awareness that you need to understand. No matter you decorate your outer self as much as you can, pretend to be good as much as you can, until and unless you are answerable to yourself, nothing will happen. So, this is what the temple tries to bring in. From worship to realization, the temple's inner path. This is, you can just see that people have closed their eyes and are circumambulating. So this is the divine. When the divine looks at you during the darshana, you will feel that something has awakened inside me. So there are music, there are incense sticks with smell. Each and every sense tries to awaken you. Just somebody holds you and just moves you like this, that you are something. You have to understand your importance. You are also important. You are not just a random selection of the deity or the divine. You are the thought which has been brought into a human form. You have certain duties to be taken care. So this is what the temples, or the temples try to tell us, that however the temple architecture is a physical manifestation of ourselves, which showcases that how important are we, how important our soul is, right? The soul of the temple is the deity, right? When you actually compare it with yourself, it is your soul. It is you, end of the day, which is important. So from worship To realization, the temple's inner path. It brings out the divinity in you, as I just said a few minutes prior, that the temple you have been looking around the world, around you, it is inside you. You just have to realize, you just have to understand your importance, and you can just do wonders. You can do anything. Okay, so I will just conclude and then we can have discussions and questions, because I believe that some thought has been provoked towards understanding a temple has been done, so we can have a good discussion, because I believe our civilization is standing because of discussion, because our scriptures, our books have been criticized, have been critiqued by several scholars, and those criticisms have been taken into a very positive way, and changes have been done. And that is how our civilization stands, because change is the only constant. Because if you don't change, you will not evolve, right? So I will conclude my talk just reading a very beautiful sentence. A temple is not just a structure, it is an experience, one that leads the seeker from devotion to realization, from form to formlessness, and from self to infinite. Thank you. We can have questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any if anybody have any doubts, you can ask to ma'am.
Yeah,
Good evening, ma'am.
good evening.
Uh, you explained everything so well. It was a wonderful lecture, and I'm really happy I registered for it. Uh, and, ma'am, I had three questions to ask. Uh, ma'am, I wanted to know that the Vastu Purusha Mandala, ma'am, is that concept applied for every structure or is it just for temples?
Okay. So, okay. I will just answer that question, then we can go to the next questions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So Vastu Purusha Mandala is to be, if you just see our scriptures, it is to be applied at each and every structure. Each and every structure. Because if you just read the Vastu Shastra, it will talk about the Vastu of a house, Vastu of a shop, Vastu of a Vidya, of a school, or any place. But however, in the present scenario, this concept of Vastu has been lost, and it has become a luxury, and people use it very loosely, that my house is as per Vastu, and there can be several things happening. So answering a question, that is it applied to each and every aspect? Yes, it is to be applied on each and every structure. But there is when you see the beer shops, or the wine shops, I had this question coming from a student. He said that you were talking about Vastu, ma'am, that Vastu is important. Without Vastu, you cannot prosper. But do these beer shops, wine shops, which prosper, and if you open it anywhere, they will prosper out of anywhere, do they have Vastu, or do they follow the ancient scriptures that we have? See, to answer that question is that I don't know about Vastu, whether Vastu is being applied there or not. That I need to explore. But yes, some sort of alignment is there, that the prosperity takes place. Not because that alcohol is being sold. There are other places, where good food is being, there can be two shops or two restaurants side by side. One is prospering, another is not prospering. So some type of alignment must have been there, through which the prosperity takes place. Hmm? Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. And my second question being, is there a philosophical reasoning on Panchayatana temple? And if so, can you explain that to me, please?
Okay. Now, when we talk about Panchayatana temple, for people who do not know, I mean, well, most of you might know. So, Panchayatan style is that there will be one temple in the middle, and along with that, there will be four subsidiary shrines on the four cardinal directions. Now, when we talk about the philosophical and symbolic meaning of the Panchayatan style, it existed because it came into existence at a very later stage. So the concept was that when you bring a deity, now deity will not come alone. It will bring its family with you or allied deities with them. Now, you just can't leave those deities, right? If somebody comes to visit you or you're calling someone for your marriage, you will say, okay, only you will come and your family won't come. That will not work. They all will come. You need to make space for them. So, this is a very generic answer because today we are not going to see it from just a philosophical or a symbolic or just from a different, just an architecture point of view. But the answer to your question is that the meaning is simple, that when a deity comes in, it will come with its family and you need to put them in space. Now, if the main shrine is dedicated to Shiva, the other related shrines will be of Shakti or Ganesh or Kartikeya or Nandi or any other deity will exist. So this is the basic concept of the Panchayatan style.
Okay, ma'am. And just my last question being, so ma'am, in the Hindu temple, did we borrow some architectural features like the circumambulatory path or the sanctum from Buddhist architecture? Like, from the stupas, and then it was like further carried on to the temples, from Nagara, Dravida styles and everything. Is that so?
Okay. Now, to answer this question, if we have to understand that in ancient India there was constant sharing of architectural features. Now, from an excavation at Atranji Khera, an apsidal temple was found. If you just read the excavation of Atranji Khera by R.C. Gore, he that temple that structure still is being there, the excavation has been revealed that it was an apsidal temple. And when we talk about an apsidal temple, we see it in the Buddhist chaityas and viharas also in the later form at Ajanta and Ellora. Now that apsidal temple has been dated to somewhere around 3rd to 2nd century BCE. Okay. Now, there is no exact evidence whether the Buddhist took the Hindu elements or the other way around. So there is a constant sharing of it, not as aggressive sharing, but yes, because when the concept and symbolism are similar, they can be taken into consideration. Because when you see Buddhist deities, most of the names are Hindu names. You will see Tara, you will see Saraswati, you will see Lakshmi, you will see several deities names, right? But yeah, they, which means that they have incorporated those deities in some or the other way, right? So this constant sharing and change of elements and thoughts must have been going around. So just to bring out when we see Buddhist stupas, when we see the stupas, so they are also dated somewhere around third century to 2nd century BCE. So if you just take those two things parallelly, you will not be able to understand who took whose ideas first. So they were existing. It is, as I just said during my talk, that the ideas were existing. The manifestation of the physical thing came into, it depends upon the time, it depends upon who is taking care of it. So yeah, sharing must have been done. The Buddhist might have taken it from Hindus, or the Hindus might have taken it from the Buddhist. So two both the parallels remain same.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maitri, for your questions. Okay. Are there any more questions? Are you all asleep? Was it that boring that through inner awareness you all slept off? Okay. Yeah, Maitri.
Wait, sorry, ma'am. I just wanted to clear off one last thing. So, ma'am, uh, this is just for my general understanding. तो मैम एक तरीके से is it wrong to have this debate कि okay, was it the Buddhist structures that came first or the temples? You know, like would it be wrong to have that debate?
See, no, that debate is an absolute different debate. See, when we talk about existing of or origin of temples, the Vedas, the Brahmanas mention about temples when we talk about not the present temples, what we see it in the present context. Okay, it is about the concept which pre-existed. The Vedas, the Brahmanas are continuously mentioning about Yajnavedis, how they are based on certain sacred geometry, how that space has been made sacred to invoke the divine. So it can be it is a precursor of the uh, of the uh, of the temples. Now, the basic difference between a Buddhist and an Hindu temple is that the Buddhist structures are funerary tombs. They are funerary structures. They are not living structures, or they are not dedicated to some deity. They are related to Buddha and their allied people. So it is not a living structure. It is based on the physical remains of Buddha, or the disciples he had. So it's a funerary structure. When we talk about a Hindu temple, it is a living structure. No dead is there. The divine is being invoked. That divine is staying there, and it is a living structure. So this is the basic difference. So, and Buddhists did not have temples as such. It is only the stupas, the chaityas, and the viharas which existed. So this is the basic difference, and I think their text clearly talk about that how a stupa is being built, and how it is the remains of Buddha has been kept, and how the stupa takes place. So it is more of a funerary structure rather than a temple. So this is the basic difference between a Hindu temple and a Buddhist structure. So I think the debate just finishes off when you just bring out these explanations about them. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Usha Nandini, you're saying as a tourist guy, I got more points from your lecture. Thank you so much, man. Okay. Thank you, Usha Nandini, for being so humble. Any more questions? I hope this the journey which were we on for 60 minutes. I hope it brings out much and much upward thinking of your life, not comparing yourself to anyone, and understanding that physical manifestations. You are yourself is a physical manifestation, and you are important. You need to understand that, because on that basis, the temple is being built in the present today also. Okay. Are there
Um,
questions? Yeah.
shall we end this session here as we come close to the end today's enlightening session of this Archeo Trials online lecture series? And it's my honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Prastha Mukherjee for sharing her time, knowledge, and profound insights with us. Her lecture, The Temple Within the Architecture, as reflection of our inner awareness, was truly thought provoking and enlightening for me, and I think that's enlightening for our all of us here. So really thank you, ma'am. And I would also like to thank our organizing team of Orchio Trials for their meticulous efforts in making today's session as more success. And to all our attendees, and for your enthusiastic participation and engagements. And we hope you leave this session with this new ideas and inspiration to explore further. So thank you, ma'am, and thank you for all the participants.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing. Thank you.